Good evening, everybody. It is night 2 of our Night of Impact, and we're going to be talking about tonight goals and action. Night 1, we talked about mindset and dreams. So let's review night 1 rather quickly. As I mentioned, we start about the 4 essentially layers of reaching your goals. And it starts with a mindset and then be able to dream. And we talked about the 7 steps or different techniques, the 7 different techniques that you could use to maintaining a healthy, positive attitude, which will keep you in the right mindset. So make sure that you, if you don't know those, you go back to night 1's video that we posted online and review the 7 different habits. I know we try and be grateful every day. There's different techniques that you need to be doing on a daily basis to stay in that the right frame of mind. Another takeaway from last night is that dreams are free. They cost you nothing. So do not limit yourself from dreaming. And hopefully, give me a little raise of hands. Who felt like they were free to dream a little bit last night? Yeah, good. And then we had some homework, which was to do that, was to dream and then write down a letter to yourself in the future present tense. So give an example of that, Jen. Something that you're writing about, a dream, but using present tense.
Again, getting called on the carpet on these things is crazy. I am so enjoying working my business as a diamond ambassador. It is so fun working with all of the 10 emeralds on our team.
Awesome. And then the last piece is the order of importance. As I just alluded to a second ago, it starts with mindset. You've got to have the right mindset before you can dream. And before you can have goals, you've got to have a dream. And before you can actually reach those goals, you've got to be able to create some actions. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So this process, I want to let you know, it's going to become tougher tonight. Mindsets, you can flip that, believe it or not. You can flip your mindset in an instant. You can choose to say, I'm going to be positive in the situation. I'm going to lay down those guilt, troubles, and things that have been an affliction to me. I'm going to change my mindset right now. And once your mindset's right, you can dream. And so it's not as easy if you haven't allowed yourself to dream in the past, but it's still fairly easy. As we get into goals, we're essentially putting a timeline on your dreams. It's going to be a little bit tougher. And then action is always the toughest because the action is going to allow you to reach those goals. So tonight's going to be tough. I just want to preface that right away. Okay? But before we do that, we have a special guest. Any guesses on who our special guest is tonight? We had a great one last night, April Pointer, who talked about how she's been successful and through mindset. Tonight is someone I think many of you know and some of you may have a crush on. Our third little clue was hey, and I purposely misspelled it because then you know exactly what was up. But I would like to now introduce our special guest, the CEO of Plexus Worldwide, Mr. Tarl Robinson. Well, good evening, everybody. You are in for a special treat. As you can see before me, we have our CEO, Mr. Tarl Robinson. Tarl, good evening to you.
Hey, Phil. How you doing? Great to be here. Great to be into a new year.
Well, I appreciate you sharing the time. It's very precious. I know we have some exciting events going on all over the country, all over North America for that matter this weekend. Tell us a little bit about Super Saturday and why it's so important to you and to Plexus.
Yeah, no, it's a new year, and we're in the business of getting healthy and helping people with their finances. And that's the 2 biggest things people are looking for in the new year. So how do you kick it off? And that's why we started Super Saturday. And it started out as an event. I think it started out with 12 cities across the country several years ago, and now we're with over 30 cities. So every year.
I'm going to pause for a second while my maniac dogs decide to calm down. Hold on. Excuse this technical difficulty. All right, here we go.
It's kind of the event that kicks people into high gear to time to get back, do the business, and start sharing the product.
Well, I appreciate that. You're right. It's a new year. And as you know, lots of people set goals in the new year. So if you don't mind, Tarl, can you share for me personally what kind of goals you set for yourself and maybe some goals that you set for Plexus here in 2017?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing you have to do when you're setting goals is to get them out there into the world somehow. And we always do that by putting them down, or I always personally done that and learned to do that by starting to write them down, by writing them down and then prioritizing them. And from there, we like to share them. We have to articulate them. If it's a goal in our own mind, it just doesn't seem to quite always reach fruition as it might have had we been sharing that with others, putting it out there to the world of what we're aiming for. So we like to do that. And we like to start with a top level goal. And, one of the things I'm most excited about in 2017 is our strategy of a delightful experience. And, we know right now and through some of the transitions we've been going through, there's a lot of not so delightful experiences going on. So we wanted to take a look as many experiences as we can throughout the company. How do we turn that into something that a person walks away with going, wow, that was cool. So a lot of the things you're going to be seeing from us, a lot of the goals that are behind that top line strategy will be supporting it, right? So what ways with our ARC, our customer relations, can we create a delightful experience? So the goals will funnel up towards that. What ways in our shipping department, what ways with our packaging can we create delight within the experience of Plexus? So we've taken the top line strategy, a delightful experience, and then funneled the goals up to there. And then how do we hope to accomplish those? We write them down, we prioritize them, and then we articulate it. We let the entire company know what we're trying to do within their department. How's it going to support that delightful experience?
That's fantastic. And I can tell you that being a part of Plexus for nearly 4 years, that it gets more delightful each and every year. And if you don't have some of the struggles, you can't appreciate the great things that are coming, the great things that we've experienced here at Plexus. So we appreciate that. Give me an idea, Tarl, this delightful experience. What are you most excited about for the business and even for yourself here in 2017?
Yeah, I think it's aiming towards that. I mean, we're looking at what I'm most excited about is getting down that path and seeing what's on the other end of it. I look at other communities and spaces that are out there. We're hopefully great observers here of how other people are running their businesses, what other type of experiences are going on. And, we're taking great notice of the Amazonification, as one may call it, of the world and the expectations that's creating and the buying patterns and trends and where have been shifting to for some time, but have really shifted to in today's world. And we only see that shift continuing to happen. So we really want to be a company that's ahead of the curve, and we feel like, well, there's no point in getting ahead of the curve if the experience isn't going to be great when we get there. So again, I think I'm looking forward to when we're sitting at Leaders Retreat here in 2017 in October, thinking about where we came from and where we've gotten to. And I hope to be I look forward to being on stage and reminiscing about all the progress that's been made and what that experience now looks like.
I look forward to that as well. I'm sure we'll have a great time in Nashville, right?
Sorry, my computer just went on mute. I'm back.
I tried. So one more question for you, Tarl, and that is, what is one piece of advice that you would share with either a brand new ambassador who's attending Super Saturday for the first time, or someone like myself where this will be our fourth Super Saturday? What's something that you hope that they get out of this weekend?
Yeah, well, it's a great training day, and it's we talked about it at the top of when we started recording here. It kicks off your year, so I would give it that kind of attention and thought going into the day. This is the kickoff, the start to my entire year, and if you need to take it that importantly, so first get that in your mindset of how important this day actually is to you, and then the advice I would give is to absolutely be a sponge there, and then don't let any distraction get in your way. I mean, we talked a little bit about technology just briefly, and how many ways are there for technology to get in our way? How many ways are there for me to chit chat with my girlfriend about what we did over the Christmas break? There's going to be plenty of time for that. You're going to take a 2-hour car ride to get there and a 2-hour car ride to get home. So when you're there, be very focused. If you're in a conversation and you step away just for a second to answer a text message, you mentally shifted away from the conversation and where your focus was, and it takes time to re-engage back up to where you were. So my advice would be a sponge and don't let distractions get in your way while you're there for the day, because your job there at Super Saturday is to walk away with one thing, one new tool, one new piece of training material, one new thing. You're going to go home, work with your team to help explode your business over 2017, and you're right at the beginning of it. So I would suggest that. And the other thing I would certainly suggest about going to any Plexus event, this one included, is be ready to have fun. We're going to be there with a lot of our friends. We're going to be catching up with people we haven't seen. We're going to be meeting people. If you're a new ambassador, you're going to start to see what this community really looks like, feels like, and how we interact and react to each other. And it's a lot of fun. We're a health and happiness company. I feel like happiness has to have some fun, right?
I totally agree. Tarl, I want to thank you for sharing this time. It's really, I don't know many CEOs that would carve out 15 minutes in their day to talk to an ambassador down here in Texas right before a big national event. So I really appreciate the time. Anything you want to say to the team upon leaving?
I'd say good luck in Texas. That's going to be a big crowd. You guys are going to have a lot of fun down there. I'm attending up here in Scottsdale, so just look forward to the event. Appreciate everybody who's listening in and taking this seriously, because it's a huge thing when you put the top of the year, the Super Saturday, and where you're going to walk into the event. So we appreciate you guys and looking forward to kicking off a great year.
Tarl, America's greatest CEO, thank you for joining me on this. Appreciate it. Have yourself a great one.
A great one, everybody.
All right. Good evening, everybody. You are in for a special treat, as you can see before me.
Hey,
Awesome.
on repeat. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed that special guest. It's always great to hear from our CEO and know that no matter where you are in life, what position you've got, that goals play a part. And that's why I wanted to have him on.
And I love that he talked in the present about his future, or about the future in the present. It was awesome. Great tie-in.
Okay, so who's ready to take another poll? We did some polling last night. Everyone, I know Katie's probably updated her Zoom so she can
I
vote.
can participate.
So let's see here. Appreciate
and for those
great
of you
surprise.
who have not updated if your Zoom, if a poll does not pop up on your screen, we apologize. You have to download it, but don't worry about it tonight.
Okay, so let's start the poll. We're going to go with question number 1. What is your mindset tonight? Are you positive, ready to take the next step? Are you, okay, I had a tough day, but at least I'm here? Or I'm hanging by a thread? What is your mindset tonight? We're going to give it a few more seconds. I think we've got just about all the votes in. All right, we're going to end it here. So here's the results. Much different than what we saw last night, by the way. So 78% of you are positive, you're ready to take the next step. And obviously you're here. And the 4 of you who are, hey, I had a rough day, but at least I'm here. At least you're here. So that's a starting point.
Kudos to you.
Kudos to you. That's a big stepping point. Now let's see if we can ratchet up. Okay, so we're going to do a couple more questions. Let's go to question number 2. Did you write down and share your dreams before this meeting? Yes, I wrote and shared. I wrote them, but I didn't share. Or nope, insert your excuse here.
No doggies eating the homework, right? That would be at our
Okay.
house.
Okay, we'll give it another few seconds. Yep. Okay, so this is good. It means we've got some work to do. Let me share the results with you. So 2 of you, you wrote and shared. A majority of you wrote them down. That's great. That's a good step, which means that we have some mindset stuff to do because you may not have shared because
And a legitimate reason.
you didn't have the time. More than likely, there's some fear there. There's some worry. There's some stuff that still needs to be broken down for you to feel comfortable sharing. I want to ask, if you're so brave, whoever, the 2 people that shared with their significant other, whoever it was, could one of you unmute and say, yes, I'm the one who wrote down my dreams and shared them?
I did. Sharon.
Taryn. Okay. Taryn, who'd you share it with?
Jared.
All right. And let me ask you,
Oh, there he is.
there he is.
Yeah, we
So let me, hold on. I'm going to find you, Taryn.
You in there, Jared?
Looking for
And Jared.
Taryn. And
She's at the
Jared.
top.
There we go.
Oh, no, you moved her.
There we go. So I'm going to spotlight you. So Taryn, with your Cubs winning man, Jared, have you done that before? Have you had a dream and actually shared that with your husband before?
The last time you told me to.
Which was a year
A
ago.
year ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
100 and
So let me ask you, how did he react to it this time, a year later?
Better.
Okay. Did he support you? Did he tear you down and say, that's so stupid?
No, he helped me add to my list.
Oh, so he helped you dream even bigger.
Hmm.
So did you have some fear or consternation before sharing it with Jared?
No, he hears me talk about it all the time.
Okay. So, Jared, I'll put you on the spot real quickly. When she was sharing those dreams, what were some of the things that were going through your head?
We just talked about, did she capture everything that we talked about that we have for goals as a couple and in life? And a lot of the stuff I think is like really good pertaining to the business and trying to get to some of the goals that she thought maybe she would have gotten to last year but didn't get to. And then just some other personal things that we strive to do better in our own lives.
Awesome. And so once you shared it, did you guys feel fairly connected? In other words, did you feel like we're in this together? You're not alone in your dreams?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Take you back off the spotlight there. Awesome. Okay. A couple more questions, then we're going to keep rocking and rolling here. We're going to go to question number 3. And I'm going to mute. Here we go. Okay. Do you see yourself as a jewel in 2017? And I know we have a few new people on tonight who didn't get this question last night, but we asked the same question at the beginning of last night, and I'm really enjoying the results right now. This is good. Let me get a few more. Give you a few more seconds. Gloria, I got your vote. Okay, I'm going to end the poll there. And I'll share. So last night, it was overwhelmingly no or uncertain. And there's already been in just 24 hours a shift of people who say they do see themselves as a jewel, or I think so. So I'll take I think so. You're making progress, right? So that's good. All right, we'll get a couple more questions, and then we're going to keep rocking and rolling here. Number 4. When I say the word goal, where does your mind go? I'm excited. I love a challenge. Let's do this. Or I'm cautiously optimistic. I've achieved goals before, but I know it's work. Or I can feel the fear of failure tapping on my shoulder. Can we move on, please? And then finally, if I can't run and hide, just let me assume the fetal position. So tell me, when you hear goal, what's your reaction? Got it, Gloria. Appreciate the votes on chat. That's good. We're going to give it another few seconds. Okay. Let's share the results. Jen, what do you think of these results compared to what you and I were discussing before?
I think they're good. I think it's what we expect, right? Because we've all had years of opportunities for us to hear that buzzword. I mean, I think whether we put goals into practice or not, definitely with our Plexus business and the culture of our Plexus company, and as our team and organization, we talk about goals a lot. So, but just talking about it doesn't mean that you necessarily do it. So it makes sense to me that the majority of people have had some success, but recognize and realize it does take work. It just doesn't happen.
It's good. Okay. We're going to do one more question. Here we go. Are you committed to being stretched and being accountable to your goals that you set tonight? So here's the litmus test. Yes, no, or I really want to try. And I appreciate the honesty. We're not looking for the right answers here. We just want honest answers. Okay, good. We're going to give it another few seconds. And perfect. All right, let me share the results. So again, no one says no, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Because if those of you that were on last night, we were skewed much more towards the pessimistic. Our mindsets were not quite where they need to be. And they're not over here far right, we're ready to walk on fire.
Mm-hmm.
They're somewhere a little bit right of center, which is a great place to be. And we'll take it. We can work with that. Good. Awesome. All right. So I'm going to end this, and we're going to go back into the PowerPoint, and we're going to start talking about goals right now. So let me share this. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. So let's talk goals. The important thing that you have to remember when you're talking about a goal is, remember, we start with mindset, then we made a dream. Now we're going to try and achieve those dreams by setting goals. You're going to have long-range goals, but it's very important along the way to set short-term goals that allow us to stay focused. I'll give you an example. I want to lose 100 pounds by the end of the year. Now, if that's my only goal, Jen, I don't have to necessarily start in January. I got 11 months to lose 100 pounds. I mean, 11 months, that's only 9 pounds a month. Totally doable. I'm going to start in February. And then February comes. Well, it's your birthday. It's Riley's birthday. It's Valentine's. We're going to have some great meals. I got plenty of time to hit my 100 pounds by the end of the year. I'll start March 1st. Okay? You guys see where I'm going with this? So I have to set some short-term goals in order to reach that long-term. So the long-term is the dream. It's the ultimate goal. Now I'm going to set some short-term ones. So I'm going to lose 20 pounds by the end of February. I want to lose a total of 50 pounds by the end of June. And then I want to be at 70 pounds of weight loss by the 30th of August, so that by 12/31, I'm at 100 pounds.
Yeah, what I love about short-term goals is it creates a sense of urgency. And urgency demands action. because you have an emotion attached to it. Urgency, when you think of the word something's urgent, it requires immediate attention. And so if we can stay in the mindset, like we talked about from the very beginning, really looking at your short-term goals with some urgency. And that's what I love about our company even too, that we're seeing, and we're going to even see some on Saturday, is a monthly incentive, something to work on this month. And when the month ends, it's over.
That's right. So I know many of you have heard this before, but I think it's worth going through again. When you're setting your goals, they need to be smart. They need to be specific. They need to be measurable. They need to be agreed upon, realistic, and time-based. So we're going to give some examples of some goals here in a second before we move to action plans. But when you're setting your goals, so remember, we've got a dream, all right? You've made some different dreams. Can you share what one of your dreams for this year?
To turn diamond.
To turn diamond. So we want to set the goal. The ultimate goal is to turn that dream into reality.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to set some specific attainable goals that are measurable, agreed upon, realistic, and time-based along that path. Okay. So here's an example of how we turn a dream into a goal. The Maui Emerald Extravaganza is September 16th to the 21st. Qualification ends July 31st. Okay? So here's the dream. And this is what I want you to really do. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's 8
And many of them told us that was one of their dreams.
That's right.
Yeah.
So here's how you want to write that dream now. It's 8 p.m. on July 29th. We are watching your points change in near real time, thanks to the update on the app.
Near real time. Almost real time.
And, oh, there it is. We just passed. You just passed 1,500 points in the back office. Says Emerald. Because it's cool. It actually says Emerald.
It will say that.
You're surrounded by some of your team in your living room as your spouse is actually filming you on Facebook Live, and hundreds of people are watching online as you turn Emerald. In the midst of your happy tears, you hug and thank everyone within arm's reach. Okay? There's something different about writing that out versus saying, turn Emerald in 2017. Would you all agree? That's a dream. That's tangible. You can taste it, feel it, touch it, smell it, feel that emotion. You need to connect to that from a physiological standpoint because it's going to help you as you're setting your goals and putting things into action. So now let's turn that dream into a goal. So specific, we're going to turn Emerald by July 31st because that's the qualification date. Measurable, let's say you're at 50 points today. So over the next 7 months, you need to add 1,450 points. And by the way, if you haven't seen this on the team page or the leaders page, Tim Thomas did a really cool graphic just showing you, for those that are visual, wherever you're at today and what points you need, how you can do it. With no people under you, what you can do. Okay. So that's just another tool. Achievable. Absolutely. I can name 3 or 4 people right now that have done it in 4 months. I know dozens more who've done it in 7 months. So it is achievable. Remember, right here, it's the mindset. Start with that first. If at any point in time when you're writing this goal, you don't believe it, reset the mind. Okay? Reset the mind that you believe it and then write it down. Realistic and rewarding, check and check. Right? And time-based. Right?
And
Yep. We'll need to know, need to now start to put together an action plan. So it's time-based. Now we're going to start putting our goals and our actions together. Okay.
now,
Let me
can
pause
I
here.
say something
Yeah, I'm
about the
gonna pause here.
realistic?
Go ahead.
Because I know how lots of your brains work, because my brain works the same way. That realistic piece of, am I really realistically going to make it to that? Am I really going to realistically grow my team? Well, first of all, that's where you have to back up and write those goals that you go through this process with gold if you're not gold yet. You go through this process with senior gold if you're not senior gold. So that you're,
That's good. I'll let your heads up.
well, if you don't share, I don't know.
Okay.
Right?
We're aligned
Mr.
because
Mango?
that's exactly where we're headed. It's good.
Okay.
All right. Awesome. Back to sharing.
Just need a little girlifying,
Girl.
femifying, something. I
That's
don't know.
awesome. Okay. Here we go. All right, so now let's go lights, camera, and action. I was going to ask Tanner this because he's probably the most qualified to answer, but how does a climber go from the bottom to the top of a mountain?
It just makes me want to go, orderly, orderly. You know, Price is Right.
Price is Right.
Yeah.
It's a great game. Hill climber. One step at a time. And, you know, I could ask Tanner right now, maybe I'll put him on the spot, Tanner, if you want to unmute yourself. When you're doing a cliff, you're going up a cliff, or was it a facing? I can't remember the term. You're ascending, and you're putting one hand, 1 foot, one hand, 1 foot. Do you think about things 10 steps ahead, or are you only focused on your next place you're going to place your hand?
Ooh, I only think about the next one. Actually, I usually don't think about anything at all, but yeah. If I'm thinking about anything, it's the very next move for sure.
Very next move. Because what if you're thinking 3 or 4 steps ahead? What's the potential that could happen when you're climbing a mountain?
Lose focus on the little details of what you're holding on to or stepping on and fall.
Boom. And that's why he has the crash mat at the bottom to land on. Thank you, Tanner. That's great. So you need to take your goal and outline a step-by-step approach to achieving this goal all the way down to daily action. And I'm going to give you an example here in just a second. What you need to be cognizant of is that you actually need to take time to identify the potential setbacks and obstacles. So both externally, that may be based on your team or your surroundings,
your schedule, current schedule,
right? As well as internal. And all those things that you might face that could interfere with you reaching your goal. Triggered.
Don't trigger me.
I'm so triggered.
That's a buzzword in our house. Our children like to use. I'm so triggered.
So the obstacles could be other people. They could be competing demands. The voices in your head could be potential obstacles.
Could be the time of year.
I like to use this thing called, I used to call it the Swiss model of management, but I don't think that's the correct term. I just like to say it because it sounds cool. But it is plan for everything, worry about nothing, because worry is a wasted emotion. So if you can, during this time that you're going to set aside to plan, go through all the potential obstacles that you're going to face. Again, let's talk weight loss. If I want to lose that weight, February, in 1 week, I have Valentine's Day, my son's birthday, and Jen's birthday. That is an eating nightmare, if you think about it, for a weight loss plan. So I have to plan about those things and think about them ahead and come up with ways that I can be successful during that time period ahead of time, or else I'll give myself the excuse, well, I mean, let me just give myself a break this week.
1 week will turn into
that 1 week turns into a month and everything is shot. So plan. Okay. And then this is crucial. You've got to reward yourself along the way when you hit little milestones, both big and small.
Yeah.
So can you give me an example, Jen, along the way of getting to Emerald, when you hit certain milestones, some rewards that you gave yourself?
Or I asked to be
Or you
given.
asked to be given, I should say.
I think that just celebrating every rank advancement is naturally a way to celebrate your advancement along the way. Giving your time to revel and to enjoy. I think even at this point starting out, if your points, for most of you that are on here, if you have a team, then if your points this month finish stronger or higher than your points were last month, that is a win. Those are the things we have to look for, the positives. If you have someone on your team, celebrating other people as they hit their milestones in our business naturally rewards us individually. So if you have 3 people go silver on your team in a month, what a big deal. Have a silver party. Let everybody kind of celebrate and revel in that and take some ownership of that as your celebration as well as it is theirs.
Absolutely. Good. Okay. So now it's time for some glue. All right. Let's put this together. Mindset, dreams, goals, then action. So I think most of you have a positive mindset, right? And if not, go back to the tools that we talked about last night and reset. There is nothing that is keeping you from staying positive and being focused on good, achievable dreams and goals. Nothing. You have no limits, no bounds. I have no idea. Sounds like our dryer's possessed right now. Or a dog. There we go. Okay, so dreams. You were dared to freely dream, and now you should see yourself in the future looking much better than you look right now. Okay? I had to steal his line.
Yeah.
Goals. You're going to outline goals that you want to achieve and then go all the way back and make short-term goals to reach that long-term goal. And then action is a twofold process, okay? You're going to write down an action plan to the very last detail along with the rewards along the way. And then the tough part, you've actually got to do the work. Let me say that again. You've got to do the work. Because having a great mindset's one thing, having amazing dreams is another. Writing down your goals is a great step. And if they stay on paper without action,
Your wishes, right?
they're simply wishes. And so
Require work.
they just require the work. And you're going to find, because we're going to do an example here in a second, that if you'll do the little bit of work daily, these dreams are not as far off as they may seem. Okay? So, who's ready? I'm going to back out of this real quickly. Going to go back over here, stop share. And I'm going to go to the gallery view. And I want someone who is feeling brave enough that would share a really big dream that they've got to go ahead and raise your hand, unmute yourself, and I'm going to walk you through the process all the way from dream to action right now. So if you're willing to do that, unmute yourself and let me hear it.
Don't jump at them. Don't scare them.
Diana, I saw you unmute there first.
Oh, all right. I don't know if you see that or not. Okay.
Oh, I saw it.
Okay. Well, I talked about it last night, but it still stands. So I definitely want to go Emerald so that I can quit my job so I can spend more time with my family, especially right now with everything that's going on with my family. But then beyond that, just my sister lives in Chicago. I only get to see her and my niece once a year. To be able to see them more often.
Okay, let me hear the concise dream. I mean, no limitations dream. Let me hear it.
No limitation. What do you mean?
Yeah. In other words, you want to see your sister in Chicago more often.
Yes.
Like, once a year, twice a year?
No. At least 2 more times a year than I see her now.
That's your dream?
Well, that's part of my dream.
Okay. You don't want to see her every month.
Or when you want to.
Or at a
Yeah, or
moment.
whenever I want to. Yeah, no limitations, nothing holding me back, preventing me from seeing her whenever.
Okay, so that's my point. This is the challenge. And by the way, thank you.
Yes.
I'm putting you on the spot, and I can do this to everyone else. But you're brave, so I appreciate that. So a no limitations dream means that you could get on a flight, book it the next day, not have to worry about it financially, go see her, have no limitations with work, no limitations with travel, and do it at any time at the snap of your fingers. That's a dream.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me about, in order to reach that dream, what would need to happen for that to happen?
You definitely need to make it to Emerald, because at that point, then I could quit my job.
Okay.
So I
So at
wouldn't
Emerald income, we're talking about 5 figures. We're talking between $9,000 and $12,000 a month. Okay.
Yep.
So does that allow you to reach your dream where you can snap your fingers?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Only you know your financial state. So,
Yeah.
okay. So Emerald's the dream. Now let's turn it into a goal. How
Yes.
soon do you want to be able to snap your fingers and go see your sister?
As soon as possible, but I I would like to make
No buts. As soon as possible. Okay?
as soon as possible.
Okay. So, as soon as possible would be, let's say, summer. Let's say June. Right?
Okay.
Okay. So, we're going to make the goal for you to be Emerald, because guess what? Along the way, you don't just go from a few $100s a month to 12,000. You stair step, and you're earning more and more income every month. So now the goal is June 30th, 2017, just in time for a beautiful Chicago summer to enjoy the lakefront, and it's now 50 degrees instead of 20 degrees in June. Okay.
Sounds
So-
much better.
Yeah, exactly. So June 30th. All right, so there's our goal. Now, Diana, tell me how many points you sit at right now on a monthly basis.
15.
Okay. So my math tells me that you need 1,485 points to get there.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's all just be discouraged, and it's been fun. Thank you all for coming tonight. I just don't see this happening, right? How many people, but in your mind, how many people actually can go there, right? Just like that. No. Where there's a will, there's a way. So we're going to now turn that dream into a goal, and now we're going to take and break that into some smaller goals. So Jen, the first goal is getting to gold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gold's 100 points.
Mm-hmm. End of February.
Okay. February. What's the next goal? I think senior gold.
Senior goal.
Okay. Senior gold.
And for all of you who are sitting there going, wait a second, how's that going to happen? We will refer you to another training called the Flywheel training that we did like when we very first started.
Mhm.
And I want to encourage you that just like we got to hear from Tarl today about the delightful experience, I love hearing that his biggest goal, his biggest desire, and everything that our company is doing for us right now is all about making that experience pleasant, more delightful. And we know our products work. We know that we're with an incredible company. We know we have an awesome comp plan. So don't look at what you've done in the past and let that get all of your goal setting and all of your work that you're in the present working on toward your future get in the way of intersecting all of that.
That's right.
Or blocking it. Because some of you could sit here and go, well, I was senior gold, now I'm back down to gold points. Who cares?
Right.
Who cares?
That and $1.50 will get you a cup of coffee. So
know that you can reestablish momentum and start this flywheel effect so that Diana sees that her team goes from 100 to 250 points in a month's time.
Erica Garcia / Erica has seen
You're like, oh.
Erica has seen the flywheel effect early on in her business. She very quickly went from 100 to 200 like that. So we're going to say senior gold by March is your next goal. And then we're going to, because the flywheel is going to be cranking, we're going to just go right to Ruby in April. And then come May, it's only another 250 points because you're already at 500. Come May, we are at Senior Ruby. And then you want to see something amazing with the power of multiplication is that you are going to be, by the end of June, our goal is Emerald, 1,500 points. Okay. I know I've lost some of you right now, and that's okay. Because you're going to reset your mindset and watch this video a few times over. And then you're gonna be with me and have completely undying faith, belief, and a mindset that cannot be stopped. But you're not there yet. That's okay. You will be. So those are our short-term goals. February gold, senior gold. Each month we're advancing in rank. Okay.
Right.
All right. Now let's take the first one. We need to hit gold. We're at 15 points. But let's not count on those 15 points. So what is one way that Diana, from an action plan, or in terms of reaching that first goal, you can reach gold? We figured out what that is, by the way?
It's the dogs trying to beat down the door. I've sent a message to your 13-year-old.
Okay. Literally, it sounds like someone's trying to break out of the
into our
prison.
house.
Okay. Okay. So you need gold. How about if you recruit 20 people, would you turn gold?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And then
Yes. So you recruit 20 people, you're now gold. So your goal in January and the first part of February is to get 20 people. You're going to turn gold. Okay. Now, we do a great job, and I know you do a great job of the power of 3. So that's our part of our action is going to be getting 20 people. So let's just focus on this first immediate action, 20 people. Now, Diana, when you talk to someone about the opportunity, how many people does it take for you to explain the opportunity to before someone decides to become an ambassador? So think about that for a second. If you talk to 10 people, will one of them become an ambassador, or does it take 20 people for you to get one person to become an ambassador? How many people do you have to talk to get one ambassador? Be realistic right now.
I think of people I talk to, probably 10.
Okay, so if you talk to 10 people, then out of those 10, you know one person will sign up as an ambassador.
Yeah, but usually personal use seems to be the way they are going.
What about that?
Okay.
That's okay. That's still an ambassador. Okay. All right. So we know that it takes 10 people for you to get one ambassador. So how many people do you need to talk to about the opportunity? I mean, and that's not email, that's not text message, that's actually have a conversation. You need to talk to 200 people to get one ambassador.
20.
Sorry, you need to talk to 200 people. Sorry, yeah, you need to talk to 200 people to get your 20 ambassadors.
To hit your first goal.
To hit your first goal.
Right.
Does that sound right?
Yes.
Okay. So on your action plan in the next 30 days, and I'm gonna wrap it up here because this is
It makes your
get
brain
in the
hurt,
weeds.
you
It
know,
makes your brain hurt. But this is how detailed you got to get. You're going to figure out in the next 30 days how you can share the opportunity in a very personal way with 200 people. And what I'll also teach you, Diana, is that we can improve your ratios to where if you are just getting a hold of 5 people and one out of 5 you can get to join, then you only have to talk to 100 people. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
So there's some skill and some will there that goes along with the drill. But my point is this: I would come up with an action plan that is very detailed, that knows that, okay, I need 20 people to hit this first goal. That means I've got to get a hold of 200 people according to the ratios that you just mentioned. How am I going to get a hold of 200 people? Doesn't matter if you know them right now, because guess what? They could be complete strangers. They could be people at work. You just know I have to share this opportunity with 200 people. And now I'm going to figure out a way that over the next 30 days, and if I do my simple math, that's about 7 people, a little plus or minus 7 people a day that I need to be able to share this opportunity with. And if I do that, if I share the opportunity with 7 people a day, I am guaranteeing myself to be gold. Do y'all follow that logic? I'm going to put it on the big screen here. I know this is a lot to digest, but this is, and I said this was going to be tough. This is where you have to take the goals and break them all the way down from here's what I need to do here to what is it going to take for me on a daily basis to produce the activity to reach this goal.
Can I say something?
Yeah, let me finish with this, and then I want you to say something. In business, if I want to reach a goal by the end of the year, I have to do all of this planning to where on a Monday, on January the 10th, I know exactly what kind of activity I'm doing to reach that goal by the end of the year. And I would probably venture to say that no one on this call, and probably very few people in the company, have put this kind of effort and this kind of forward thinking and planning into reaching a goal. But rather, say, well, I just didn't get 3 people this month.
I don't know anybody.
I don't know anybody. It's hard. But, or conversely, I put together a great DMO and I'm just not hitting my goals. Well, they probably don't even have what your goal really is, right? You're just doing activity to do activity. You need to know, and now Diana, that my first goal is hitting goal by February. I've got to talk to 7 people a day.
And there's your urgency, right? There's your short-term goal. That gives you a plan. That tells you what to do. You wake up in the morning. You're fired up by seeing your sister whenever you can, being Emerald. If the picture is walking across the stage for some of you, if it's sitting on the beach in September, the urgency has to be, what do I have to do today? And today I have to do the hard thing so I can do the big thing later. And I think we get caught up in, well, my kid was sick and I had to do this. And this is going to become part of what happens with your goals and your actions. Is the mindset has to stay strong enough that no matter what comes, I still have 7 people to talk to in a day. That we do, Phil says all the time, lots of people say this, people do what people want to do. If you want this, then you have to show the action behind it to prove that it is really what you want. And we are here to help siphon through. I think most of you are probably able, if you take the time and really get quiet and focused, to write out these goals and to kind of stair step them. We can help you kind of check and make sure that they follow in that SMART acronym. But this is doable, guys, and this should excite you. This is really, when I first started my business 3.5 years ago, this is right where I was at. I pulled out that comp plan. I was like, okay, goal. This is what I'm going to do. And I just talked and I talked and I talked to people. The cool thing that happens is when you're in that massive action mode, people think that that's what's expected. There's no personal use ambassador sitting around going, well, yeah, I'm going to just order my triplex and sit over here, because they see you in massive action and they say, well, I want some extra money. Diana's making extra money. What do I need to do? Oh, I gotta talk to 7 people today.
That's
and
right.
It starts to just mushroom so that you do have the number growth that y'all were looking at a few minutes ago and going, there's no way to do that. But I would venture to say, because I know I've been there for myself, certainly in 2016, that I would do a little bit and then back off, and do a little bit and then back off. And if you don't stay in massive action, you cannot hit your goals. You won't. So you have to be okay with that reality. There's no judgment. There is no judgment, but your dream is your dream. And the only person that's going to achieve your dream for you is you. And so you have to be the one committed. And that's the next step, is really making the commitment that you're worth it, that your dreams are worth it, that all the hard blood, sweat, and tears that will go into making this dream happen, because perception, guys, becomes reality. And what maybe you've seen online and what you see of other jewels or other people, leaders in our company, it's like, oh my gosh, they just like turned around and they became diamond. Amy Paul was on our team call several months ago, and y'all saw she works her butt off for her business. You have to be willing to do the hard stuff to get the good stuff. And like April said last night, nothing worthwhile in your life comes without some sort of sacrifice. I posted today on our team page the Bob Heiling video about taking massive action. He talks about talking to 200 recruits. So it's really interesting that you guys did this exercise together tonight on Diana's goal. I'm sure most of you have this goal right now, that your next step is to get to gold. Your next step is to get those 200 points, to talk to 7 people a day, and then train and duplicate. And the cool thing is that the training and duplication will come naturally if you stay in that massive action mode. We, as your leaders, are privileged to get to do this and introduce you to this idea, but there is nothing novel about this that you can't go and teach your teams the exact same thing that we've done tonight. So encouraging and inspiring and then getting to work is what it's all about. And we know y'all can do it.
So Diana, thank you for sharing your dream. And I just want you to know it's attainable, and it's attainable in the time frame that you want it to have happen. So that dream was being enrolled so that you have the time freedom to go see your sister and be able to quit your job and do all the things that you want to do. And the only way in our society that happens is through dollars. Just plain and simple. It takes money. Okay. So the dollars that you want to make are at Emerald. So I just did some quick math. Those 20 people that you recruited this month and part of next month, those 20 that you got, Notice what I just did right there.
Mhm.
Speaking the future in the present. Those 20 people that you just recruited. I didn't say they had to be rock stars. We didn't say that they had to be personal use. It doesn't matter. Let me just share a truth with you all right now. This is about volume, and we want quality, but it's about quantity. You've got to go out and make this happen. So because, Diana, you made those 7 new contacts a day, and you shared Plexus in the nooks and crannies with 7 different people, you got your 20 people. And those 20 people, they got 60 people through the power of 3. And those 60 people got 180 people. Now, you recruited the 20, and you have the passion, the excitement, and people have just bought into your energy because you have a mission and a goal and a dream, and nothing's going to stop you. So they have the same attitude and dream. Here's your level 4s. There's 540 level 4s. I added the points up. That's a little over 3,300 points by June. All from you making 7 contacts a day. By the way, I will do this with anybody that reaches out. I will walk you through and take you all the way down from the numbers at the top and the dream that you want, and I will break down the time frame and give you a daily action plan. I'm glad to do it. I've done it for 20 years.
And some of you said you don't see yourself as a jewel. And for whatever reason, that's okay if that's not a heart's desire. Maybe your goal is to get to Ruby, which is 500 points. We can still do this. Emerald's not the magic limit. Maybe you say, forget Emerald, I'm going straight to Diamond. I'm not going to be satisfied with Emerald. If is Diamond, the same principle can apply. We can go back and look at it and help you figure out your goal. The cool thing about this process, guys, is that it's unlimited. There's unlimited potential. I will tell you that there is a bell curve in seasons, and we are in the upward swing of a bell curve for your business. If you want to see impact in your business, you've got to do it January, February, and March. Period. You decide to work your business in April after you get a couple things going, you are going to be behind the bell curve.
All right. We've given a lot. We've shared a lot. We've hit you between the eyes tonight. I promised it was going to be tough, right? I did say that. I said it was going to be tough. And I'm sure it felt a lot tougher than last night. But we want to hear from you right now. So before I do the last poll question, tell me about your mindset. Tell me about your goals. Tell me if you want to take me up on doing all the way down to an action plan. Diane, I could take a whole nother level and say exactly where and how you would find those 7 people every day working a full-time job, because I work a full-time job. And I still was able to put together this presentation and do all the things, be a good dad, be a good husband in between. So how did I do that? I got rid of the TV. There's no TV right now because it was a distraction, and it doesn't help me do what I want to do and achieve the goals I want to achieve. So anyway, talk to me, people. Thoughts, comments, concerns. We don't need lovelies. We don't need glowing. Hit us between the eyes. What did you like? What did you not like? Okay. Melissa, I see your chat. I'll recognize those here in a second. Okay. Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
So this was really, the whole thing has been real enlightening for me. I think I had kind of gotten into a ditch, and I talked to Trila some today. She's my partner in crime, and one of the things that I really, really realized yesterday was that I had kind of let the dream fall apart, and I was looking more at the tediness of it and the sacrifice, because there is a sacrifice. And the good news about this was, as soon as I cried like 3 times through the thing, and I went in there and I talked to JD, and we talked about my dream of doing this, because I work a full-time job, and so it's really hard. I drive an hour to work, I drive an hour home, and then I'm there 8 hours, and so, and I need to sleep a little somewhere. I think I was methodical in how I was working my business and not. And dream isn't really dream's the right word, but at the same time, I stopped looking at the big picture, and I don't know. I just think the whole thing has made me reset my mindset, made me start dreaming again about what I can do. And just sitting here tonight, all I need is about 30 new ambassadors a month through July, and I'm Emerald. Well, that's ridiculous. That's when I sit here and I think about it, because I've been Ruby for a whole year, and what a waste. If I really had put my mind to it and worked as hard and
pause. When you're dragging a foot in the past, you can't move forward.
But that's the thing. Like, I need to go forward, and 30 people a month on my team. That's easy. I can do that. And, and I had my goals written out for the year, and I put Senior Ruby. I did this a few days ago, and I marked it out tonight, and I put Emerald.
Awesome.
Because I could do it.
You can.
I think everybody on this whole thing needs to really put the math to it, like you said, and use your tracker that you have, because that also keeps you accountable every day for your action plan. And I've gotten away from that. And I think that's one of the things that this has been a great reminder of. Go back to your basics, do every single step, and you can do it. And I don't know about everybody else, but it renewed my spirit, and I've been pumped all day, and I wrote my dreams out, and and I went in there and I talked to JD, and I think that that's important too, that you share with your partner or your family and get everybody on board, and we're kind of getting a plan together, because it's hard when you work full time. I know, Diana, you said you work full time, and clearly you have family and everything, but it is doable. And the past 2 nights have really got me back on track, thinking I absolutely can do it. And here's the deal, I deserve it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
That's
right.
good. Thank you, Terry. All right, so we're going to launch the last question, and then I'll shut it down, and I'll leave it open for questions here in a second. So here we go. Last question. Would you all want to have a night of impact, kind of a tune-up, monthly? So once monthly, to keep your mindset, dreams, goals, actions aligned throughout the year? Yes, just me, maybe. No thanks. I wouldn't make friends. Okay. Leave it open here for a few more seconds. All right, and we'll shut the voting down now. Awesome. So yes, and you'd invite friends. It's good. One of your babies. I get it. We can't make everybody happy. That's all right.
3 of them. Oh,
One. Just one. It's all right. And just you. That's cool. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to close this down. Thank you all for watching the Night of Impact. Stick around. We'll open up for questions, and I'll pause the recording now. Thank you all.